Hey everybody, it is our annual Toys for Tots fundraiser for the holidays. For more information on that or to make a donation, check out the coffee page, link above my head. Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Let's just cut right to it. Leave a like because right now we are taking a look at something that I've been very excited about, something that is pretty awesome, and something that is new to the Classified series. Leave a like because today we are taking a look at G.I.Joe Classified series Ghost Viper and Dire Beasts. This is awesome. I haven't even opened it up yet and I already know it's going to be awesome. I know so much that I bought it twice. Now I know there are probably people that bought more, but I'm not a big army builder. I usually buy one and I'm done. But with this, I had to get at least two, and if I ever find a third, now that they're sold out, I'll probably pick up a third at some point too, depending on once I get these guys open. These are Crystal Ball's henchman, force, unit, whatever, but they use the same sort of like fear-inducing technology that Crystal Ball uses. You know, I loved Crystal Ball, card and link to that right here. And the fact that they gave him like a faction, a force, this is awesome. This is 100% awesome, and I can't wait to get these open. These were Walmart exclusives as part of their collector con. Right now, time of recording, I believe they are sold out both on Walmart's website and on Hasbro Pulse. If I'm wrong, I will leave links to an active sales page below, but I don't think I'm wrong, but check it out in the show notes below just in case. There's going to be a lot of reuse for parts to this, but there's also a lot of really awesome newness that we can already see inside, like these Beast, these Dire Beast heads right here. The primary head sculpt, which I think I know what they're going to be using it for later down the line. The wolf is a reuse, but now it's in like a translucent green. These are going to be awesome. This is a deluxe figure. These are going to be freaking awesome. So up front, we have our standard. Actually, no, it's not a deluxe. It's a figure and pet. We have our standard G.I. Joe packaging with the big window box, Cobra, Ghost Viper, and Dire, dread-inducing responsive energy beasts. Up top, Cobra logo and number. On the bottom, we have this nonsense. On the side, we have a great image. Once again, I miss the windowless packaging for Classified. This looks like it would have been an awesome full package image to have on the front of the box. On this side, symbols, QR code, window up there. Back here, we have an awesome look at our character, at our figure, at everything. It's not a wolf's head. Is that a dragon head? Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be real good. And we have some highlights to take a look at. It looks like he has interchangeable hands too. This is going to be awesome. I almost did this for the end of Bricktober, but I did Beetlejuice instead. I probably should have done this one instead. But let's not waste any more time because I know you want to get this open. I want to get this open. So without further ado, let's get this open and let's take a look at G.I. Joe Classified Series Ghost Viper and Dire Beasts. So here he is, our Ghost Viper out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is almost 6.5, closer to 6 3/8 to the top of his helmet. First things first, the Ghost Viper and his accessories is going to be a lot of reuse, but I firmly believe that this is an instance where it's not so much that reuse is a problem, it's how you use it that counts, and they use it very well. First off, almost this entire body, from what I can tell, the boots I think are from something else, but I can't remember what the boots are from, because you can see that we have one sort of spat right here painted over, and then it's molded onto the other boot right here, but it's just painted black to give it an asymmetrical look. It may have been from the retro card Viper. I don't have a retro card Viper, but I know that the legs here and I believe the arms and probably the upper torso are all from the VIPER. And I want to say it's from the retro-carded VIPER because they're pinless, and I believe the retro-carded VIPER is a pinless VIPER as well. The vest is also from the retro-carded VIPER. I know it's not from the original VIPER because the original VIPER right here has more pouches and either gas or flashbang grenades right here, whereas this one has just regular pineapple grenades on his vest, and that is also from the retro card VIPER. The wrist units right here are from the Techno VIPER, which I believe the hands are from the Techno VIPER as well. The only thing that is original about the figure is this, its primary helmet, its primary face sculpt, and let's be honest, this is the Star VIPER. Once they get to the Stiletto and the Star VIPER, this is it right here. I would almost be willing to put money on it that this is going to be the Star VIPER helmet, which I'm fine with that because it means the Star VIPER is on his way, and I loved the Stiletto when I was a kid. Still waiting for the Fang. Still waiting on the Fang. So having said that, we should know what to expect from the figure initially. And honestly, the paint apps, the paint job they gave him, this is fantastic. That the gray undersuit, the brown simulating like sort of like brown leather, like this matches Crystal Ball's color scheme very well. The only thing that it's missing is like a fur-lined collar. But the gray and the brown matches Crystal Ball right here. And I'm just going to leave him here because I have a... Wait. No. The boots are different. The boots are different. Okay. I'm just going to leave him here for now because there's going to be a few more call-outs to him. Mainly right here, we have a Cobra logo on their left shoulder, but on the right shoulder right here, we have Crystal Ball's logo. And that comes from what he has on his shirt right here. So that is a very cool touchstone as well. Just, you know, further indicating these guys work for him, which I may have to get a few more of these. I really hope they come out with more for his faction because we've kind of lost the Python Patrol. D.I.R.E would be an awesome sub-faction. And something else that I really like about this, is that this is new for Classified. I love when Classified comes out with newness for themselves. And this, if they create an entire faction that was just unique to Classified, that will be awesome. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, I hope they do come out with more, maybe like another named character that's a henchman. I don't know. And Psych Out, whenever they come out with Psych Out, he could be like the antithesis, the nemesis to Crystal Ball. There's so much they could do with this. I love this whole thing. So, like I said, we know these are reuse from the Techno VIPER, but they have Crystal Ball's or D.I.R.E.'s paint scheme right here. That having like the painted gem or painted like gold piece right there, having the gold trim around the wrist monitors right here, like, and the gold in the helmet, it's Cobra, but there's like this sense of like, I don't know, mysticism about them, even though they're technology based. I really dig the whole feel, the whole vibe that D.I.R.E has right now. So as he is right here at the base figure, let's take a look at his articulation because we will be looking at the articulation again once we get some of the accessories out. And the accessories is also an area where we're going to see a lot of reuse, but also a lot of newness. So just bear with me. Let's start with the head. The head will do a full 360 spin. He can look up okay. He can look down okay. There is some decent tilt side to side. We just have that standard dumbbell joint right there with a ball joint at the base of the neck. Arms will do a full 360 spin. There is a butterfly joint that's kind of loose, but has some decent amount of movement, especially going back. Arms, two of them, will go up way past 90. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that even with these wrist cuffs on will do a really good job of closing in. Wrists swivel, wrists hinge in and out. There's no up and down, which is kind of a bummer. Not even on his weapon wielding hand right here. It's all in and out. Underneath this vest, there is a crunch, and the vest is flexible enough that you can get some decent movement out of it. And he can crank back as well. And then once he cranks back, you can also kind of see the ruffles, the ripples going on the sculpt underneath. To get this vest off, there's no latches, I don't think. No, there's no latches there. You'd have to pull the arms off to take the vest off. We have the belt, I think, is new as well. And even there's some detailing here in the belt that you can see, like the flashlight right there, an accessory pouch right here, the gold clasp, another pouch, and then he has the back holster for his sidearm, which we'll be taking a look at when we look at accessories. We have drop-down hips, so that the legs will come out to yo. They even continued the paint of that spat around the bottom of the boot. That is really cool. Like, I don't mind that. Oh, wait, they painted the bottom of this one. That's, okay. They left it asymmetrical, so there's no paint app right there. Is it supposed to be painted? Hold on. That's, hold on a sec. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Hold on a second. So this is the Ghost Viper that we've been looking at that only has the one spat painted and has that asymmetrical look to him, which I thought was really cool. But this is the other one, and you can see that both spats are painted brown right there. And that's the way that it's supposed to be, that this one was missed in the paint. And I don't hate that, to be honest. I kind of like that I have two different ones. And if this is how it's supposed to be, I kind of want to get a third one now, because this one will stand out and he can be like, I mean, it's a minor thing, but I could give him a different helmet, maybe get him a unhelmeted head sculpt for it, and he could be like a sergeant or a lance corporal or something among D.I.R.E. That's okay. So both of them are supposed to be painted. That's really interesting. So let's set this one aside for now, and let's keep looking at the articulation. Where were we? Okay, so we had drop down hips, and they can come out to the side, out to there. Thigh cut, double jointed knees that crunch in very well. Basically, like I said, this is a VIPER reuse, so if you have the retro card VIPER, you know what to expect. I also like that with this being a pinless joint right here, you don't get that gumminess that, here, let me pull this other VIPER out right here. You don't get that gumminess going on with the joints right there. Like, it's not horrible on this one, but I think if you have a VIPER, you know what I'm talking about, that it has that gummy flexibility going on right there. Boot cut. Ankles rock back very well. Ankles rock forward very well. And we have a forward-facing pin for some rocker. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is some of the more mundane accessories that the Ghost Viper comes with. And the first thing we have is this pistol right here. And I cannot tell you who else has received this pistol. We have seen this piece numerous times among the ranks of Joe and Cobra. But this is, I believe this is a real world piece. Maybe a Glock? Maybe? I don't think it's a 1911. But we've seen this enough times, and this fits into a holster that he has on the back of his belt right here, that it just slides in like so. And that fits nice and snug right there. Switch that around. And then we take a look at the rifles that he comes with. And these are not some of my favorite accessories that the Classified series has had. These are the rifles that came with the Cobra Island exclusive Cobra. It was either Trooper or Infantry. I forget which was which. But this is the long rifle. This was supposed to be like the sniper rifle that has sort of like that Nerf gun barrel going on. And you can see mine has been put through the process. It's bent up a little, but it's a much softer rubber or a much softer plastic than the first one was. It's not horrible. I could put some heat to it and get it straightened out. I'm curious though why they gave the Ghost Viper a sniper rifle, because He seems like a close-up in-your-face type combatant, which is where this piece would come in. This is the assault rifle that came with that same Cobra Trooper, but you can see from the barrel, it's kind of supposed to be a laser rifle. Now, the Cobra Infantry or the Cobra Trooper, I forget which, that came with these weapons had a vest that the back had 2 peg holes so that you could peg these into the trooper's back like so. The Ghost Viper does not have that, but he does have a single back peg that this will fit in, so you can peg it into his back to make it look like he has it slung across his back or slung over his shoulder. So that does work out that way. So that's pretty cool that at least he can shoulder some of the weaponry right there. But if he does that, let's set these down for now. If he does that, he's not going to be able to pack this. And this is basically his chemical dispersal unit. That the backpack, the hose, and the emitter, the gun right here, is all from barbecue. And it's all reuse, which we knew it was going to happen. But to be truthful, I kind of wish this wasn't the piece that they used. I wish they would have used Blowtorch's pack, and we'll take a look at why in a moment. But this pegs in very well onto his back. It's a nice tight fit right there. And then he can just hold on to this and get his trigger finger in there. I love the translucent green that they're using all over this figure, this character. That the tanks right here are translucent green. It would have been cool if they would have been a little bit more translucent and then maybe had some fogging or some smoke on the inside to make it look like there was chemicals going around in there. I like the translucent hose right here. Mine's a little twisted up. Let's pop that out and let's turn it around so that it's not at such a drastic angle. There we go. You saw that just pegs into the back of the pistol piece, and then this just pegs into, into the side of the pack, just like barbecues did. So you have this, but then you also have this incredible blast effect right here that is a fantastic translucent green. Is supposed to be like the chemical agent being shot from the barrel, and it has a skull right at the end. That is freaking awesome. And this just plugs in like so. And it's a little heavy. It's a little front heavy that you kind of gotta stabilize right there. Your Ghost Viper right there, including his arm, because there's a lot of weight behind that one. But if you take a look at that, that looks really good. Now, looking at that, keep that in mind, but imagine it was coming out of this. This would have been cool. This is Torch's backpack for his flamethrower. Imagine if this would have been the translucent green canister. This hose would have been translucent green. The emitter right here would have been completely black. We have the skull right there already, so they could have done this up in a different color. The flame effects that are coming up out of there could have been translucent green to like imitate more of the chemical agent being discharged from it. And then we take this. This peg is too small to fit in there, but then imagine that it was coming out like this. I think they kind of missed an opportunity to have this be the emitter for that. Plus this, one thing I really like about this, especially for Torch, is that it fits on his backpack. Like he can slot that on right there when he's wearing the backpack, so he can be on his bike or he can be wielding his weapons. I do wish these came out though, so that there wasn't always flame popping up out of it. But I think this would have been a better option for the Ghost Viper rather than that piece. Don't get me wrong. This looks awesome no matter what. But I would have liked to have seen this set up with Torch's flamethrower. So now the moment that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, let's check out his translucent green assembly. Let's look at his hands, his head pieces, and even the little chemical tufts that he has coming up off of these monitors right here. So he has these screens on his wrist, which I'm assuming might be to gauge like chemical dispersal, things like that. But we also have these little translucent green pieces right here that peg into these to kind of be like the chemical agent coming off, or maybe just part of like the terror that like it's just emitting from him, that he's just that BA. Unfortunately, these do not fit into the barrel of the pistol of the emitter, because I thought it would be cool to be able to plug these in and sort of make it look like it's not at full discharge, but like the chemical agent is seeping out. You can't do that. These are just designed to fit onto his wrist pieces right there like that, so that he can just always have that little bit of flare, even if he doesn't have anything else going on. Now, he does have different head pieces, and first off, I gotta say, this helmet is awesome. Like, I love this helmet, but when we take a look at some of the other things, there may be some issue as to how am I going to display this guy. Because we can just pop the helmet off, as you saw when we were taking a look at articulation, and then we have this piece right here, that this is just your basic VIPER helmet with a translucent green visor, because you can even see, let me pop this off again, you can even see underneath there that it's translucent plastic, with a skull painted on the visor, giving the illusion that there is a skull looking out from underneath the helmet, which is freaking awesome. We also got the standard VIPER goggles to go over top of the helmet, but really, do you need that? Like, that just looks, that just looks really cool on its own. The design, the paint app, just the look of it, that looks really cool, like a Reaper on the battlefield. I really dig this. But then we have, and these are what everybody's been waiting for, we have these other translucent heads of the hooded Cobra right there. That's just insane. That is just freaking insane. Now, when we looked at the box, you might remember that there was an image on the back. Hold on, let me find the box. Okay, here we go. There was this image on the back that I was like, is that a dragon? Because I knew he came with the snake head, and I knew he came with a wolf head, but this looked different. Those aren't horns, those are the upright ears. So that's actually the wolf's head right there. But what I also found out with this, let's pop this off, and let's put this on, that the way it was packed in, first of all, how cool does that look? We got a freaking Cobra werewolf going on right here. I should have done this for Bricktober, man. This thing fits right in. Oh, it's not focusing. This thing fits right in. It's having a hard time focusing on that translucent green. But if you look, he has a bent ear. And I thought, okay, that's not how it was on the box. Maybe that's what they decided to do. What's on the box may not have been, finished product. And so the wolf has one bent ear. But not so, dear viewer, because here is the wolf's head from the other one with two straight up ears. So not only does this one have a unpainted spat on his boot, but on the same side that there's no unpainted spat, he has a bent ear, and it wasn't for the way that it was packed in. Like, this wasn't touching anything. This was just bent. I gotta be honest, I'm not upset about this at all. I'm kind of digging how this one's going to have a bit of a unique look to him. So we have this werewolf head, and this is how it's supposed to look with the two ears upright. Look at that design. These fangs coming up, the canines coming down, the red eyes, the translucent green going into the darker green right here. And on him, that just looks so beast. So freaking beast. I love it. So let's pop these off for now, because he has one other accessory to look at, that we can swap out his hands, and I pull these off, and we can keep these on, and I'll show you that in a second. But he has these beast hands too. Look at that. Oh, is that awesome? Now, you can There is enough of a curve on this that if you leave his monitors on, let's plug this in. You can leave them on, and the fur, the wisps, whatever that is right here, will fit over his wrist gauntlets. But I kind of like the look better without them. So you can do it either way that you want to. You can either have his wrist components stay on, because he does have articulation. They'll swing in and out, and they'll swivel. Or you can take them off. I was kind of partial to having them off, but now that I'm looking at them with them on, I'm thinking I might keep it on. Let me put this back on. To put them on, instead of trying to go straight in, I think you saw that. I sort of move them out and then just push straight down to get them pegged in there. Yeah, I think I'm changing my mind. I think I like it better with the wrist units on. This hand, which has this pointing hand, kind of looks like it should be able to hold his weapons, but that grip, where are his guns? That grip is way too big that they won't fit in his wolf hand right there. He's just meant to be like menacing with these things, and that's really cool. He does have articulation with the head. He doesn't look up very well. He can look down. It will turn side to side, and he still has that tilt side to side. If we put the Cobra head on, it's basically the same thing, that he can actually do a full 360 with the Cobra head. He can look up better with the Cobra head. He can look down okay with the Cobra head, and he does have some really good tilt side to side. Once again, that translucent green, that translucent green with the black paint apps going over top of it really give it a unique look. And if you're wondering where to go, yes, you can pop Crystal Ball's Cthulhu head on it, and it matches up with the gauntlets as well. So that's really cool. One thing I haven't tried yet is to put these on Crystal Ball. Let's try that. So yes, the taloned hands fit on Crystal Ball as well, and that actually looks kind of awesome in and of itself. Now, also, you can swap out, you can change heads, that you can put the Cobra head on Crystal Ball as well, if you would want to try that. So there's a lot of even part swapping between him and his men, between him and the Ghost Vipers. So that's really cool. The only thing that kind of is a hang-up is that because of this part of the fur that comes down off the back of the wolf, you can't really get the wolf head on Crystal Ball very well. He's just always, like, you can get it on there, but he's always in a perpetual downward look. So you can do some swapping, but honestly, this one is his best look. Something that I didn't notice with these hands, with these ghost hands, until I was taking them off, I was hinging them in and out because I just assumed that they hinged in and out like the other ones. But if you look in there, there's actually a ball joint in there on the wrist socket. So you have a full range of motion with these things, with these hands, once they're plugged into the wrist socket. Okay, so here's the beast part of Dire Beasts. And the first one we're going to take a look at is this Cobra that we have right here, this illusionary Cobra made of translucent plastic. Once again, we have the translucent green with the black paint applications coming up off the back of the Python, off the back of the Cobra, and down over the Cobra's hood. It does match the paint job that the Cobra head has, but that's one thing we didn't take a look at, man. Like, look at all of that. Look at the scaling work right there. We have it here too. So, like, the detail work on this is really good. Now, anybody who has Serpentor knows this is, I think this is the snake. This is the Cobra from the Serpentor and Air Chariot box set. Mine's packed away right now, and I'm not going to get it out. But I'm fairly certain that we've seen this Cobra before. We've seen this mold before, and this is from the Serpentor box set. So we will set that there. There is no articulation. It's pretty much in this position. Honestly, I think what might have been cooler is if they would have done this with the coiled snake that we got with Once a Man Cobra Commander that was supposed to be like the snake version of Cobra Commander, because that Cobra had hands, had arms and little hands, and that would have been even more terrifying, I feel, rather than just a Cobra right here. But then we also have the dire wolf, and this is Timber. Let's be honest, this is just Timber remolded, repainted, molded in translucent green, once again, gaining that black paint job across the head and across its back, down to its tail right there. Fades in a little bit along the sides, but mostly green and black. We have a really nice, like, good boy head right here with the red eyes, but this is a dire wolf. And what he needs is his angry boy face right here. Both of Timber's heads, the same ones that we got with Timber, and this just looks great. Like the open muzzle and everything in this translucent green, like this looks fantastic. This is terrifying. The articulation on him, as you can imagine, the head will do a full spin. It can look side to side, not much, but that can be compensated for with the rest of the twisting of the body, which we'll take a look at in a second. He can look down, he can look up, but then he also has this neck joint right here that the neck will go back so he can howl at the moon, and that's as low as it will come. So he can't really get down and sniff unless you play with his front legs, but he can rear back to howl at the moon a bit. Now he has this waist piece right here that we get that much twist out of it. It also rotates a bit, but because of the mold and the shape, it won't go all the way around without warping and possibly breaking something. And then the tail back here, the tail goes up, the tail goes down, and there is a swivel right there. So he can only really do a wag side to side if you turn the tail. Legs, we have these ones that will go all the way around. They hinge out a little bit, enough to get a nice stance going on. Has articulation there. And at the knee, has a swivel, hinge and swivel at the knee. Has it at the ankle right here as well. Nothing, oh, and an ankle rock. I don't know if you can see that, but an ankle rock right there. Rear legs here will also go all the way around. Articulation there. Then the dog leg here. Then the ankle, there we go, the ankle as well, once again on a rock. And these ones will splay out as well. So if you have Timber, you know what all of the articulation is, because like I said, this basically is Timber recast. Hasbro, especially the G.I. Joe team, is doing a fantastic job on animals. I kind of wish they would do like a zoo collection of just bringing out animals at like the 1/12 scale. That would be really awesome. And now for size comparison, here he is beside Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Crystal Ball and Baroness. Here he is beside Hasbro Marvel Legends Count Dracula and Psylocke. Here he is beside Valaverse Action Force Bone Collector version 2 and Pandora. Here he is beside Nacelle Toys Sectars Warriors of Symbion, Dargon and Stellara. Here he is beside Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse Masters of the Universe movie Blade and Evil Lyn. Here he is beside NECA Toys Dungeons & Dragons Warduke and Strongheart. And as always, here he is beside Airborne and me from the G.I. Joe Steel Corps. Once again, considering it's G.I. Joe Classified and it is the Ghost Vipers, I don't think anybody is going to be surprised when I say that I really love this set. The figure, the accessories, the headpieces, the dire wolf, the dire cobra that comes with it. This is something that I never knew I wanted in G.I. Joe. I didn't think it was going to be something I would be into for G.I. Joe. It's just, this is one of those things that's just like so weird that I wasn't sure something like this I would be into, but wow, do I really love what they're doing with the Ghost Vipers, with Crystal Ball, with this D.I.R.E technology, with just this translucent green that they have going on. I really do hope this isn't the last of what they do with this. I do hope that there is more coming down the line. I think it would be fantastic, and I think there is plenty other things they could do with this faction, we want to call it, the D.I.R.E faction, that could be done. I kind of dig that the one Ghost Viper that I have has a mist paint on the boot and a bent ear on the wolf's head. I kind of like that he has a little bit of character like that. I kind of like that he's going to stand out from the other one, and probably the third one once I get a third one, once I track down a third one to get. This was a Walmart exclusive. It was a Collector Con exclusive. Currently, right now, it is sold out online, but I have a feeling there's going to be another release of these. I have a feeling there's going to be another chance to get your hands on these, whether it's through Walmart, whether they restock some on Hasbro Pulse, whether it becomes like not a Walmart exclusive anymore and they can start selling them through Big Bad and Entertainment Earth. I really do feel like this is such a unique set and such a popular set that I can't help but think that there's going to be another way to get your hands on the Ghost Viper eventually. There's just so much uniqueness because, think about it, they spent the money on the molds and all of the translucent plastic that it feels like it would be a huge mistake to not capitalize on their uniqueness and on their popularity and make more. Even the accessory reuse, I don't really mind that much. Like I said, the guns, the rifles that they come with aren't my favorite, but in a weird way, it kind of suits these guys. The only thing I wish they had done differently, and I mentioned this during the show, during the episode, was that instead of Barbecue's fire extinguisher setup, they would have used Blowtorch's torch assembly. I think that, in a weird way, would have fit like the motif of the Ghost Vipers better, just because of like the skull head and those little jets that are coming out through the eye sockets. I think that would have been really cool. I love like the gas expulsion blast effect that we have that like just forms into this flying skull, and the reuse of timber and the Serpentor snake to make the dire beasts. Heck, the ability to make the Ghost Vipers into dire beasts themselves is fantastic. That is really cool. I am having way more fun with that than I originally thought I was going to. And it really does make me want to try and track down a third one at this point. Now, for as awesome as I think these are, I do understand if there are some people that this is just too weird, it's not their thing, it doesn't fit G.I. Joe. I totally get that. I 100% do. But I thought I wasn't going to dig something like this as well, but these are a lot of fun. Kind of wish I would have had them for Bricktober, but we're looking at them now. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. And as always, I really hope that everybody who wants one of these is able to get at least one of these. Well, look who made it to the end, and if you made it this far, obviously you liked what you were watching, so why don't you go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you already are a subscriber, you're a legend, and I love you for it. At this point in the video, this is usually where I would promote channel memberships or subscriptions through our Ko-fi page. However, for the fall fundraiser, it's not about me, it's all about the kids. Keep in mind, we are raising funds for Toys for Tots, and any donation would be greatly appreciated as we strive to reach our goal. For more information on that, click the link for the Ko-fi page right here where you can see our fall fundraiser video and donate if you have the means. Until next time, everybody, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.